going to write about cheeseburgers today just because that's ironic because we're making a cheeseburger organizer, and so we're going to write about cheeseburgers. Tomorrow you can write about what you want, your own topic, but today you're going to write about cheeseburgers. Now, you can write your own or you can write down what I'm writing. It's up to you. All right, so our very first sentence is the topic sentence. Our topic is cheeseburgers. So we have 4 choices of how we can start that sentence. We can start it with a question. We can start it with a fact, an example, or personal feelings. Personally, I don't know a lot of facts about cheeseburgers, other than I like them, right? I don't really have a cool example to tell about a cheeseburger. It would take me more than 1 sentence to tell an example. So I'm going to choose personal feelings. You can choose whichever one you like. I'm going to start with personal feelings, and I'm going to say this. I feel cheeseburgers are the, don't forget to indent, most tasty meals of all. Okay, I told how I felt. I started with a personal feeling. And this is my topic, right? Okay, so I need my first detail. Does my next detailed sentence, does it need to be about cheeseburgers, or can it be a detail about any old thing that I want it to be?
Any old thing.
No, it has to be another.
We want everything to make sense together, and we're talking about cheeseburgers. So my detail really needs to be about a cheeseburger, okay? So let me think. First of all, I need a transition word. This is my first detailed sentence, so I'm going to use the transition word. Can you guess? First. Simple enough. First. Now let me think. First, I know. I got to break my word up here. Cheese burgers are juicy and delicious, comma, when they are cooked. Who knows what I'm going to say?
Just right.
That's exactly right. Cooked just right. Okay, that's my first detail. I used a transition word. It's first. And I used some details. They are juicy and delicious. Okay? So now I need my second detailed sentence. And I need a new transition word. I think I will go with then. You could use next. If you want to use next, that's fine. I'm going to go with then. Then, let's see, I'm going to change that. Then, when you add all your favorite toppings, comma, it becomes even tastier. Okay? So let's try to find our transition word. What is it? Then, what are my details? What am I adding? What am I adding? I'm adding all my favorite toppings. Okay? Now I'm ready for my next detail, which is my last one. Yes?
You need to come after them.
Good job. Okay, I'm going to use my last detail now. I'm going to say, well, I've talked about it's delicious. I've added my toppings. I'm really ready to eat this thing. So finally, I'm going to talk about that. Finally, when you taste that first bite. Now I want to use some figurative language because I want my reader to really get a good picture in their mind. You see how we've been activating the senses? Can you tell? Can you kind of see it in your mind? You can probably almost really smell it if you just smell hard enough and think about it hard enough. Okay, so when you taste that first bite, what kind of figurative language when we use a comparison like or as? What's that? Okay, so finally when you taste that first bite, it is like picture in your mind? It does for me. Like I can see my mouth just having a party all of a sudden, right? Because I'm so excited about finally getting to eat this perfect burger. All right. What's my transition word? Finally. And what are my details? What is it? What is it like? It's like heaven on my taste buds. Now I'm down to my clincher closer. I still really don't know any facts to tell. I still don't really have an example that I want to use. I already used personal feelings, so I'm going to end it with a question. Because when you ask your reader a question, they automatically answer it in their mind. And it keeps them thinking about what you're saying, right? Okay, so I think I'll even use another transition word. Because after all this, I want to say, now, are you thinking cheeseburgers? I'm going to restate what I said. Are you thinking cheeseburgers are the tastiest meals also? That's my question. I used another transition word and I ended it with a question. Okay, let's read it all together now. I feel cheeseburgers are the most tasty meals of all. First, cheeseburgers are juicy and delicious when they're cooked just right. Then, when you add all your favorite toppings, it becomes even tastier. Finally, when you taste that first bite, it is like heaven on my taste buds. Now, are you thinking cheeseburgers are the tastiest meals also? You either think, nope, don't turn it off. You're either thinking, nope, I still don't like cheeseburgers, I like pizza, which is what I got first period, I like pizza. Or you're thinking, yeah, you know what? I do remember having the most perfect hamburger ever, cheeseburger. But there's still some things that I could go back and make this even better. I want to see if you see them with me. See if you can point them out also. One thing I noticed when I was rereading it back to you, I start out saying I, because I'm talking about myself. But then I noticed here, I use the word you. This needs to stay consistent. But I can't say you think cheeseburgers are the tastiest because I really don't know what you think yet. I'm talking about I. So I really need to keep this consistent and I need to change this. I feel cheeseburgers are the most tasty meals of all. First, cheeseburgers are juicy and delicious when they are cooked just right. Here's another thing. There's nothing wrong with saying just right. But you could have chosen some other things too. You could have said cooked perfectly. You could have said cooked to perfection. Somebody, second period said you could have said cooked on point, which is a term, a French term used to mean you hit it on the head. You know what I'm talking about? Nailed it. You nailed it. You don't know what I'm talking about. So you could have changed up your phrasing there to just add your own style. Then when I don't know that you're going to add any toppings, but when I add my toppings, like I should have said all, not your favorite toppings, I'm going to add my favorite toppings. It becomes even tastier. Finally, when you taste the first bite, no, I'm going to taste the first bite. I'm not going to make my burger and then give it to you. When I taste the first bite, it's like heaven on. See, I already said my. But do you see how I was inconsistent? I went back and forth between my and you and I and you. It's got to stay the same. Now are you. Now why can't I use you this time?
Because you're asking the questions again.
I really am asking you this time, right? Now are you thinking cheeseburgers are the tastiest meals also? Or two? Or as well? Lots of different ways you could have added it. Do you see how we could have made it a little better? Changed it up a little? Would anybody like to share what they wrote? You can turn it on now. Thank you. Anybody want to share? Did anybody start theirs out differently, maybe with a question?